Bureau, guys. Weekly market review. So let's look at Bitcoin first and see what's going on with Bitcoin. Okay, so let's start with the higher tide first. Higher time frame is very important. So on a higher tide, we've got this bullish candle here. Let's get this out. So MACD is coming down, the RSI is going downwards. We have this bullish candle here in August. That's a rejection of lower prices. We've gone up, and then we're kind of forming a bullish candle here as well. So let's get rid of this angry man for a minute. And we've kind of come back into the wick here, and we're trying to go up. So it depends on how this month closes, but there's clearly a lot of bulls controlling the market at the moment. Depends on how MACD closes this month. It will be very useful. So monthly is not really clear as to what is going to happen. If we go to the weekly chart and look at our levels and see what we can see from our levels. So we can see that, from here, we dropped all the way there, right? That's one level drop. From here to here is one level drop. Then we bounced up. We've dropped to this point. That's level 2 drop. We bounced up. And this is a level 3 drop. So we've got 3 drops in terms of price. This is a bullish candle, which obviously pushed price up. We've then come back to test the wick of this candle. And we're trying to go up. So for me, I think, there's obviously 3 scenarios that I've been looking at, which is Bitcoin. Bitcoin comes to do a double bottom here, and we get a bullish candle, and off we go. Bitcoin does a lower high, which was 53, and 53 had always been on my cards, and we got 52.5. So that scenario has been kind of hit, and we're going up. The question is, can we break these tops here? So can we break like 65,175? If we can break this top and confirm above this top, then I know that I could be going somewhere, right? Otherwise, the other kind of scenario 3 is if we don't get a double bottom, then we're going to get a lower low, which will be around maybe 47K, 46K, something like that. Before we go. So it all depends on how this week closes. One thing is for sure, if we close on a green candle like we're closing now, and our volume is reasonable, and our MACD is also green as well. So if we close like that, then we'll go higher. The question is, can we break the tops? Today is Sunday, 10:49. Obviously, this weekly chart closes at midnight tonight, so anything can happen, right? Between now and midnight. So, for me, I think the way it looks at the moment, I doubt that we'll kind of reverse all the, we'll sell so hard that, this candle changes, but it could happen. So, we just have to wait for the close, and then maybe Monday, if there's any change in this candle and the volume and MACD, then of course I can give an update. But it is looking promising. We've done the 3 level drops. It's a question of which scenario we're going to get. One scenario has been hit, and we're actually kind of going up. So until that fails, that scenario seems to be the one that's going to play out. At the moment, it's not failed, so we have to stick with it, right, until it fails. Okay, so that is the weekly chart. The daily chart, what we can see on the daily chart is we're facing resistance. So if we zoom this in a little bit more, we're facing resistance on this 200 moving average. It's been a resistance line. We tried to break above it. Here rejected, and we're kind of retracing backwards. I think this correction takes us to about, I think, I'll say 61.6. 61.6 will be the correction zone for Bitcoin. I've written a forecast here, so I just want to make sure I got it right. Yeah. So I think, we fall to about, 61,600, 61,600, somewhere there. and then maybe we have another crack. We will have another crack at this. Yeah, so fall to here and then have another crack. So maybe 61,600, and then let's see whether we can break this this 63.9 and close above it. This one did look a little bit promising because we broke above it and closed a daily candle above it. So it was looking promising. But then, of course, it didn't hold. We came back down. So we need to wait for proper confirmation on this, right? So that's what we've seen on the weekly chart. You know, all the kind of waves have been done. So, you know, you've got your, you know, one drop there, two drop here, and you got your third drop here, right? And you got a lower high. So, you know, it's looking good as well on the daily chart. It could be well that we come back again and retest this point, or we could actually come here and do a double bottom, or we go slightly lower. Either of those scenarios could play out, but it depends on what happens at the top here, what happens right here. And I think we'll know more tomorrow. By tomorrow morning, we will definitely know where the direction of travel is going. The data is not complete, so obviously we're trying to make sense of what we've got currently. But you know, at the moment we're pulling back, and if I go and look at, let's say, a 12-hour chart, we've kind of broken above the 212 hours, and we're pulling back. So you know, the question is, do we pull back to, you know, that's about 61,157. I've got my target around 61,600 as the pullback zone. So let's see if we can hit there and bounce up and break the one on the daily chart. That would be really, really useful. That'd be very, very, very good. If we look at it on a 4-hour chart perspective, so 4 hours, we can see that, if I just zoom this out a bit more, we can see from here, this is basically just a one wave here, because this come down from here all the way there. It's one move down, one move, and then we have another move two. We've had another move up three, and then we've had another move up here. So this is like a 4-pattern wave that we've got. So there is definitely maybe one more left. And so I think this pullback could take us all the way back down here, or even here, which is 61K, and then we go back up again, you know, and go and probably test that, what we did here, which is the 65K. So that's the 4-hour chart. I mean, at the moment, it's a short at the moment. If you wanted to short, you short this, and it probably comes, if it breaks this line, the next area of interest will be somewhere around here, which will be around the 61.5, 61.6, which is where I've got my target, 61.6 as kind of the pullback zone. So that's Bitcoin. Let's quickly go and look at TIA. So TIA, let's look at it on the weekly chart. So with me for TIA, what we can see, I'll just get rid of these alerts. Keep making noise. Get rid of it. Okay, so what we can see here is obviously we've got, you know, a weekly. TIA has definitely done all the levels. You know, you can clearly see we've got level 1 there, level 2. We've come down again, level 3, right? So we've come down again, level 3 there. And then we've had a bullish candle. We've had a triple kind of green candle, green MACD, green volume bar. Tells us we're going up, and we've gone up. The volume is strong here, which suggests we'll go up again, right? So, you know, we'll pull back. I think this pullback takes us, I think for me here, this pullback will take us to about between $5 and $5.20. $5 and $5.20 is where I think this pullback falls to. And then we continue our journey up, and we'll go up higher. I think if we go to the daily chart, for example, have a look. I think this $8 mark is going to be tested after this pullback. So this pullback takes us to the $5, between $5 and $5.20. You know, $5 somewhere there, $5.20 here, somewhere there is probably where the pullback ends, and then it goes for another leg up. Because if we're looking at, you know, rises on here, you know, since the fall, this is the bottom part of it, and this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So there's a 3 push up there, and you correct a little bit, then you continue again to do 2 more, right? So there's 2 more left to the upside, and that probably takes us all the way up to the $8.50 mark. So watch that in terms of, you know, zones to buy for tier. On 4 hours, you can clearly see it's pulling back, you know, and I think, you know, it's pulling back, and I think, you know, this zone here, between here and somewhere there, you know, $5 somewhere here and there, I think that the price falls there, and it'll be a great place to kind of buy some more. I mean, you can shorten. It's not really ideal because you're shorting from here only to bring it somewhere there. The risk reward is not worth it. You know, for me, I think you might as well collect long positions here and manage your risk accordingly, and wait for the bigger move to the $8 mark, which you make more money. I think that's, for me, how I'm playing this particular token at the moment. So that's tier. We can look at render for a minute. So let's look at render from a weekly chart perspective. Or even a monthly first. So monthly chart, we definitely have got kind of a rejection of lower prices here on this candle, and as a result, we're going up. I think render goes up to about $7. You know, very likely goes to $7. But let's look at it from a weekly chart perspective. A weekly chart perspective, we can see render has been falling quite a bit. So we've got a fall there and a rise here, a fall here, and a rise there, and a 3. So there's kind of 3 level drops there. We've achieved that. The question for me now is, do we get a lower high? The lower high is not really been printed properly on this chart yet for me. And I've marked my kind of level here. I think probably I'll move it up a little bit. So, you know, somewhere, continue anyway. Yeah, so I think for me, you know, we're talking 392 area. I think, you know, it could be touched. So I'm still holding out that it touches that zone, you know, but I wouldn't go short in this because you are kind of forming a kind of a green bullish candle there, which means that $8 mark probably will go up to about $8, $7 first before, if we're going to come down, we come down. So for me, I think render may pull back to about the 490 to 520 zone. So 490 to about the 520 zone, pull back and then continue the leg up. That's what I see on render. So if you look at 4 hours, for example, we're pulling back. I think, you know, we pull back all the way to somewhere here, you know, $4. We can pull all the way back here to the here. It's possible. So we can pull all the way back here, or actually may end up at 517. So, you know, $5 to 520 between here and somewhere there is where you're probably gonna get this token fall to. So for me, you know, if you start collecting it from 530, you're not doing too bad, to be honest. If you collect long positions from 5, buy a little bit, you know, maybe 2% of your account, you know, and then when it drops to say 516, 515, you buy another 2% of your account, maybe 4% if you want to. That takes you up to 6% of your account, and then you leave, you know, maybe 4% if it drops to the $5 mark. Then of course, you know, you can put another 6%, 4% in there to get you up to 10% of your account, and just leave it, to be honest, for the big rise which is coming. So that's how I'm playing this as well. This render token, that's how I'm playing render as well. And then we talk. Finally, let's look at AAVE. So AAVE is another one which is interesting as well. So AAVE on the weekly chart, you can see what we've done here on the weekly chart is we've done a few level rises already. So, you know, you can see that the actual move started from here. That's the lowest point. We went up, went sideways, consolidated, 2, 3, 4, and now we're in our 5th rise, right? And what you can see here is you've got resistance on this 200 moving average, but most importantly, last week's volume was very strong, and as a result, I do expect, of course, you've gone up. But this volume is not as strong as this volume here. So, you know, this uptrend is weak. It's getting weak. It's getting exhausted. So there is a correction on the cards on AAVE. So if you look at the daily as well, the daily levels, you can see there is a divergence on MACD here on the move to the upside. There's divergence on the RSI. If you draw lines across it, it will be from here, there. There's divergence right there. And if you draw a line here, there's divergence there as well. Even if you put it up here, there's divergence there as well. And you've got your price then actually from here, price is going up. So there is a divergence between these indicators and price, and that tells us the move is getting weak, right? You can also see that the volume is also tailing off as well. So volume is tailing off. So this is due a short at these levels. And I think, you're correct, definitely back to, I think, around the 135 mark. Even the 200 moving average becomes a possibility on AAVE. So this is definitely a short for me. It's not one that I'll long at the moment because it's done the levels for me. The weekly chart is looking weak. Yeah, the weekly chart is looking weak at the moment. So, and if you go to 4 hours or even 12 hours, you can see that, again, let's get rid of these lines I drew. You can see that we've got a stopping candle already there. This stopping candle here is a warning shot, right? So we had our warning shot. We've gone slightly above it on lower volume, and now we're supposed to correct, and we will correct below here. So this correction probably takes us back all the way back down to about, I would say, somewhere there. So I can move this to somewhere here, about 120. I think it's possible. 120 from this place is possible on AAVE. So, and another thing we need to also look at is AAVE BTC, right? So the strength of AAVE versus Bitcoin. You can see it's been really, really strong against Bitcoin. Bitcoin, even when it was falling, AAVE was very strong and going upwards. And if you're counting, I mean, it's done the one wave there, it's done 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's then finally done an extension right here. So, and then you've got your lower high forming as well on 12 hours. This is a lower high forming from there. If we go to the daily chart, you already have a stopping candle already there. You've got your lower high, probably maybe pushes a little bit higher to here, and then it corrects. So AAVE is definitely very weak, and it's definitely one that it's one for a short for me. I'll probably take that trade. So that's AAVE. On PENDLE, we can look at PENDLE as well. So PENDLE as well is doing something similar. I mean, it's got a weekly triple green, so green, green, green there, which means you will go up. If we close this week like this, we'll go up slightly more. I think we probably hit about 490 on PENDLE, maybe yeah, 480, 490 is possible on PENDLE, and then probably after that we do a correction, right? So that's what I'm looking for because the volume is strong. If you go to 4 hours, there's a mini correction happening on 4 hours. It's a mini correction. It's not, we've gone outside the KC channel. This is the KC channel. We've gone outside it. We've gone higher. We will pull back into the KC channel. So again, this could be a short-term short if you wanted to. I mean, you could short it all the way back down to here, 403. It's not a bad trade. So again, that's another coin, but that is it's only pulling back in to go higher, right? So it could pull back in here or even back to somewhere here and then go up, as I've said. So the pullback zone for me is about 385. It falls to about 385 and then it goes up higher next week, right? So this is a short-term short if you want to do it. Maybe best to wait for 380 and then buy your long positions around the 380, 390 because you're going to go way higher than 446. Yeah. So that's PENDLE for you as well. So that's all I've got in terms of crypto coins that I'm looking at in terms for this week. And then I've also got GBPUSD. So for if you want to trade Forex, GBPUSD. So if we look at GBPUSD for a minute, what we can see with GBPUSD is we can see on the weekly chart that we've got really strong volume, strong candle. MACD is also green, so chances are next week we go higher. But if you look at it from a pattern move perspective and see, okay, well, let's minimize this so that we can see clearly. You get to see that we've done the levels that I expect. So this is level 1, level 2, level 3. We've got a level 4 here, somewhere here, level 4. Level 4 is here, and then this is our final move. And normally the end of the move is a huge volume comes in. And this is the huge volume which is coming. Yeah. So next week I expect this to go up slightly. We've gone outside the KC channel, so it's more likely we go up higher. So maybe one somewhere here, maybe somewhere there, 1339. You know, I think I would say 1344, 1344 tops, 1344 somewhere there, tops. Yeah, let's put an alert there to remind ourselves 1344. Put it there. Yeah, so 1344 probably is where we will hit, and then we correct, right? Correct back to maybe somewhere here. You know, 129, 1.29 will be the, so this would be a good trade, right? To take. The risk reward is very, very good, so I'll be taking this trade. And then if you look at 4 hours, so 4 hours is basically we've got a bullish kind of rejection candle. You know, bears are starting to take control, but I think it goes up higher. You know, to the as I said, 1334 zone. We poke above this slightly, 1334, maybe 1335. Even it could go up to 134, right? It could go all the way up to 134. But you know, I wouldn't expect it to exceed 134. And then it corrects backwards. So that's GBPUSD. I mean, if you want to take that trade, that's also available as well. I think that's enough for this week. We've got plenty there. So you know, I wish you all the best. You know, God bless, and we'll catch up maybe during the week on how things are progressing. Okay.